Welcome to Cardinal Perspectives, an in-depth conversation with the Catholic University of America, alumni, students, faculty, and staff. In this episode, Sharon Sabini, an English major at the Catholic University of America and a member of the class of 2026, sat down with Sophie Maccarone, an alumna and head softball coach at Catholic University, to discuss her time as a student athlete, the challenges currently facing women's sports, and what sets Catholic University's athletics department apart. Sophie Maccarone is a graduate of Catholic University and a former four-year member of the softball program. She spent 2022 and 2023 as the program's graduate assistant coach, helping the team to a 23-17 record. The 2024 season proved to be a massive success as the Cardinals matched the program record for wins in a season with 28. The team finished 10-6 in the Landmark Conference, earning the number 2 seed in the Landmark Tournament. In addition, Coach Maccarone saw a pair of Cardinals earn all region honors, while 4 student athletes represented on all Landmark teams. Aside from her work at Catholic University, Coach Maccarone has served as the head softball instructor, softball coordinator, and strength and conditioning coach at Bradley Baseball Academia in Reston, Virginia. During her career, she worked as a graduate marketing intern in the American University Athletic Department and as an operations event staff member for the DC United. In the conversation that follows, Coach Maccarone shares her insights on women's sports, her values and goals for her team, and what it means to be a student athlete at the Catholic University of America.
Sophie, you started your Catholic University journey as a student athlete yourself. Could you tell us about your time at Catholic as a student and as an athlete?
Yeah. So I started my time as a collegiate athlete at Catholic. During high school, I loved sports. I played soccer, basketball, and softball. Honestly, softball was my least favorite during the time, and growing up, I really hated just standing around waiting for the ball to come to me. But I stuck with it. And in high school, I had 2 really good coaches who kind of led me where I am today. I actually didn't go through the recruiting process. I just applied to a bunch of schools that I wanted to go to, narrowed it down to like, hey, they do have softball. I'm going to be able to try out most likely. I decided to come to Catholic because I love the location. I love the people. I wanted to be in DC.
Right.
And then they had a softball team. So got into Catholic, reached out to their coach, was able to try out and made the team. And, from then on out, it was the best decision I made. I still have friends that I made here and roommates that I had who still live here in DC with me now. And it just made me make so many connections, spend so much time in D.C. With that, I also knew I wanted to go into doing something in sports. So having those connections through the business school and through D.C. United and the Nats and every other organization within D.C., which allowed me to get where I am today, and stay at Catholic and be able to coach, which was awesome.
That's so interesting, your kind of interesting path of like getting here as a student athlete. What, in your opinion, what life lessons do you think sports, specifically collegiate sports, teach student athletes?
Yeah, I think there's a ton of life lessons. Some that I was always taught growing up is hard work pays off. You're always working hard because you never know who's watching, really. And that was kind of my motto coming into Catholic. And then that's kind of what I tell to the players today. Like, hey, even if you're running the fastest in a sprint in conditioning, like we're still noticing that. You're still going 110%. So that's one lesson I try to teach, hard work. You never know who's watching. Anything and little simple things like treat others how you want to be treated, and then support each other. We're a team of 24 people, and there's only 9 or 10 people who play at a time, really.
Right.
So supporting the people behind you. If you're playing second base and there's 2 girls behind you who don't play as much, support them. They're your biggest supporters too, and work together. So, just coming together as a group, and the fight and the mentality that you have, which then later on can, in turn, go to your working world and to real life too.
That's wonderful. So many different kinds of lessons. Yeah. What would you say, kind of growing from like maybe some of those lessons, was the hardest setback or roadblock you experienced, specifically being a woman in college athletics?
So in college athletics, I think it's grown so much, and especially women's athletics has grown so much since I was a freshman. There's this new phenomenon in shirt that says everybody watches women's sports. So that's kind of like the new thing that's coming about. So it's really awesome to see that because we're getting so much more. When I played here, perfect example, we had a dirt and grass field that if it rained one day, you wouldn't be able to play on it for 3 days. And right now, we're in the process of completing a turf field project, and we have lights. So, like, that was probably a minor setback, and probably a lot of other collegiate female athletes had to deal with that and deal with maybe getting less than some other sports teams. But I think it is on the rise, and I think it's awesome. Women's sports are getting so much more. Like, think about Caitlin Clark and think about what she's been doing for everyone. Think about, in our world, a Division I Oklahoma softball who just built a new stadium, and they're getting all these crazy recruits, and they also have a World Series stadium in Oklahoma. Like, there's so many crazy things happening. So there are some setbacks, but also I think there's so much good that is coming from that. And that's only to come too.
Yeah, that's so wonderful, especially your actual experience with the dirt field. That's really cool too. So you did kind of mention the way that it is moving forward, but do you think that there's still any challenges in terms of visibility and support that particularly softball faces?
Actually, yes. So versus the MLB, softball really doesn't have a professional league.
Interesting.
So
I didn't know that.
there's no real professional softball after collegiate softball. So they just started to make some leagues which you can go and play in, but there's no like equivalent to the MLB. So I think that's a little bit on the visibility side. Like, there's not as much to do afterwards, and maybe that deters some people from playing softball. Like, hey, they want to go and be a USA player. Okay, you can be a USA softball player, but you can't go anything beyond that. But support-wise, I think we're getting more and more support. I think there's a little bit, and not really on the college side, but on the youth side, there's a little bit lack of support on that side. And that's something that I'm trying to get into and try to support some of the youth around the area in the DMV, because there's been a lot of baseball and like girls playing baseball, and like it's good to get them out there and do that, but then they come to softball and they don't know as much, so kind of teaching them that and getting them into that realm of softball. That's what I'm trying to help out with right now while I'm also coaching here, which is really cool to see. And then it's going to benefit us because we're going to get players who know what to do and already have all those skills that can transfer over to.
That's really awesome. Could you talk a little bit about those programs that you're involved in with the youth?
Yeah, so we've been going to Washington Nationals Youth Academy just to do a little bit of work with them and teach them some softball skills, more baseball skills. I mean, more basic skills like throwing and catching and hitting. So it doesn't really matter what ball at that point. But then getting into, softball pitches underhand, and this is how we base run. You can't take a lead, and this, that, and the other. But personally, what I'm doing right now is working for a local travel organization that just came about. It's called the DMV Dream, and it's just local Maryland, Virginia, DC girls who don't have as much and don't have as many resources, but they're able to play softball on this good team, and the coach helps them get this visibility and go to these tournaments, which having me a part of it helps more on the softball side because it is very many dads who played baseball. So just teaching them a little bit about the game and a little bit how we play our game, because everyone plays their game differently in softball. You can bunt, you can have power hitters. There's a bunch of different strategies you can do. So just kind of teaching them those things that we do here too.
That's so awesome. Turning back to Catholic University, what would you say makes this university and its athletic program unique?
I think one major thing that makes Catholic University unique with athletics is we're allowed to do any major and do a sport. So, for example, I have a bunch of nursing majors, architect majors, especially like engineering and all those hard majors, education, and they're also allowed to compete in a Division III sport. A lot of Division III universities won't allow, especially like nursing and architecture. So I think that's one unique thing that Catholic University has within athletics is they'll support any major,
Yeah.
and they'll let us take on anyone who wants to come here and do those hard majors.
Right.
In turn, it's really awesome because they're getting to do what they want and playing a sport that they love. So there's so much more buy-in because they really want to be here because those two, they're pursuing their dreams in both ways, basically.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's very unique too. Yeah. What is one of the most important lessons or concepts you've used from being a student athlete and bringing that now to your position as a coach on the team?
Like I talked about before, I think one of my most important lessons is I always talk about hard work to them. I always talk about hard work, and I talk about kindness because you never know who you're going to bring back or who you're going to be brought back to. You know, especially for me, like I went to school here, I played on the softball team,
Right.
and then I came back and coached with people who I was very close to already. So, you know, just being kind, supporting them, showing my work ethic, and then being able to come back and coach people who were also with me and thinking about all those things. That's one of my main lessons I talk to them about a lot, but also with having fight and like wanting to win and being persistent. Last year we had a motto and we said last punch. Like we were always giving the last punch. We were always, you know, leaving it all out on the field, essentially. So that was one big thing that we focused on. This year it's playing our own game, which we're not worried about everyone else as much, but we're playing
Right.
our game and how we can play within our lineup and our defense and everything that we have, which is also like working well for us as of now.
Yeah, the record looks awesome so far.
Thank you.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, only 4 games in, but we got a
Still.
long stretch of 10 games next week. So putting that to the test, seeing everything we got.
Right.
But yeah, just playing our game and leaving it all out on the field.
Yeah, that's awesome. What changes have you already tried to implement as a coach, or do you hope to create in the program as your time as head coach?
Yeah, I think some changes based on like mindset of playing we've been trying to work on. Like we're a really good team. We're a competitive Division III team, and we want to be fighting for the number 1 spot every single year. Like yes, we've been in the conference tournament probably every year that I've been here, but being like, hey, we want to be competing for the 1 or 2 spot every single year.
Right.
So changing that, changing how they interact with each other at practice, changing kind of how we do practices, and basically it's kind of like learning the team. Like I learned that they really like to know what's going on. So for me, it's sending practice plans every single day saying, hey, you guys, this is what we're going to do. Even if it's like we're going to run sprints, like put that on there.
Right.
They know everything that's going on. But yeah, those little things have changed, and we talk about it all the time. Like doing the little things is going to help you get better even more. Like as simple as being on time for practice and wearing the right color shirt you're supposed to wear to practice. Because in turn, like it's only going to help them in their lives and in the working world because you need to be on time to work. And some works have uniforms, like mine doesn't, but like sometimes you need to dress
Right.
business casual or you need to do whatever. So you got to wear the right thing and do the right thing, and every little thing matters. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Kind of like similarly to that, how do you create an environment that fosters both athletic and personal growth for your players, as you were just talking about the lessons that they can maybe bring into the workplace?
Yeah. So softball as well as baseball is a game of failure. Every hitter in baseball, if they're going like 1 for 3, they get 1 hit out of 3 at bats. They're batting .33. They could be in the Hall of Fame. So at the end of the day, our game is a game of failure. You're going to fail more times than you're going to succeed. So fostering growth within themselves athletically and personally through failure.
Yeah.
We talk about failure all the time. We talk about it in practice. Making mistakes is okay in practice. It's how you learn from it and how you grow from it, essentially. Like asking questions, being like, okay, next time I'm going to do this instead. And then in turn, seeing that in the real world and seeing that in everyday life. Like we have things happen outside of practice that people are, messing up or learning through their school or their job opportunities or internships that we work through, and just learning those things.
Yeah.
I know, like, there's failure that goes on and they hate to fail and they love to win. But just understanding that it's okay to do that, and that's how you're going to overall make the most growth. And, like you said, we're 4-0, which we're winning, but there's still things that we haven't done as well at that we've been working on this week to get better.
Right.
So it's really good to see, okay, we made 4 errors on Saturday. What can we do better? And watching that back with them and kind of walking through it and seeing, okay, we can do this and the other. And then them learning even more and growing from that.
Yeah, that's awesome. The growth and the learning is something, that's totally awesome. Why do you believe that women's athletics should be highlighted specifically at the D3 college level?
I think I'm a strong believer that Division III is awesome.
Yeah.
I'd never even wanted to pursue D1 though, but still, I think Division III is great because you get your whole person in there.
Yeah.
You're doing school, you're doing softball, you're able to do clubs, internships, intramurals, literally anything and everything that you want to do. Visit DC, explore DC.
Right.
So I think that's why it's most important for a female athlete at the Division III level, because you can be your own person. You can find what you want to do, what you want to be, and you're not doing softball 100% of your life, basically.
Yeah.
Yes, Division III is a lot of time. We're practicing 6 days a week in season if we're not playing games midweek. So you're still taking up a lot of your time. We travel to games. We stay over. We're going to Florida on Saturday for spring break. So there's a lot we do. But maybe it's 75% or a little bit less rather than 100% of your time in college. So you're growing as a person even more, and I think that's really important. And like I said, for me, it was one of the best times I had here. You have a full schedule. You can go to class, do softball. You have to do your homework at a certain time.
Right.
You're spending so many hours with these 24 people. And then, you're just becoming one whole person and just not focusing on hitting and throwing 100% of your day.
Yeah. That's awesome. Do you have a memorable moment or experience from your coaching career that you feel like would exemplify some of the strength or resilience of women in sports?
I have many moments. I think one moment that stands out to me, and this was kind of a special moment for me and the program. Last year, my first conference doubleheader, we had to move it because we had weather. We still had the dirt and grass field, so we had to move it to a Friday night. Long week goes by. We're playing at 5 o'clock versus Susquehanna, which is one of our biggest rivals. Yeah. And I'm like, it's my first conference game. I'm like, oh, gosh, I'm so nervous. Everyone's going to be here. It's a Friday night. And I put one of our junior starters on the mound, and I was like, okay, she got it. They scored first, and I was like, oh, no, we got to come back. But showed the fight. We came back. We scored 2 runs and won that game. But then we had a second game, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Let me give a freshman a start. I'm feeling brave. And she was doing really well in Florida. So I was like, okay, she's going to do awesome versus them. Same thing. They scored first. We came back 1-1. We got to 7 innings, and it was still 1-1. So we went all the way to the 9th inning. One of my seniors hit a walk-off, and we won the game.
Oh, my gosh.
Freshman pitched all 9 innings. So I think that was my biggest moment. It was the first time we swept Susquehanna in program history. My freshman, I think she got pitcher of the week that week with 9 innings. So that was a really good day. And it was something I'll always remember because, we've never swept them. I never remember sweeping them ever or playing that well against them.
Yeah.
A freshman starter, and she pitched a great game. And
awesome.
I just saw the fight in them after a long week of school and practice and everything else, too. So it's definitely something I'll always remember.
That's awesome. I got goosebumps over it. That's so cool. What advice would you give to young girls who dream of playing collegiate softball or just pursuing a career in women's sports in general?
On the softball side, I would say just be persistent. Keep working, keep doing the little things, and everyone's going to find their place. So when I was going through the process, like I said, I wasn't really in the recruiting process, but I knew that I was going to find my place, that I wanted to go to school, and that felt like home, like you did probably too.
Yeah.
But yeah, just be persistent in what you want, keep working at it, but you're going to land where you should play and where you should be.
Right.
Same thing on the career side. I think I was very persistent. I think during the time that I wanted to work in sports also, there was sort of a rise in females wanting to work in sports. I think there wasn't that many. And then when I graduated in 2021, I think there was a female exec in the MLB and like a bunch of other females in higher positions, and it kind of grew. So there was a lot of females wanting to get jobs in sports. So it was maybe a little bit harder, but it's just like being persistent. Like, hey, maybe you need to apply to 10 jobs.
Right.
Maybe you need to take an internship until the job comes around that you want. So just keep working at it, and you're going to be where you're supposed to be. And weird enough, I thought I wanted to work in professional sports, and I ended up back here because, you know, this is just where I was meant to be.
Right.
So,
Right now, yeah, that's awesome.